What's going on, you guys? So today I'm so excited because we are talking 2016 favorites. All of my favorites for this past year. We are slowly approaching the end of the year, which is insane, but I wanted to share with you guys some of the products that I've been using nonstop this past year. Some of them I mentioned in my 2015 favorites video, so some of them are repeated, but it's just because I cannot put them down. They're just some of my holy grail products. All of the products that I'm mentioning today are all products that I 100% recommend. They're all products that I 100% would repurchase as well. I was going to upload this video a little bit more towards the end of December, beginning of January, but I wanted to squeeze this in before Christmas time because if you want to try out any of these products or you want to ask for any of these products for Christmas, you still have a little bit of time. So I'm going to jump right into it because this video is already going to be really long. So the first little category I'm going to start with is fragrances. And fragrances I feel like I hardly talk about on my channel because it's kind of hard to explain a fragrance. You kind of have to smell it in order to really get to see or feel or smell what it's all about. So the first fragrance I'm going to talk about that I actually just discovered a few weeks ago is the Giorgio Armani C. And this fragrance right here smells so good. It has a really sweet scent to it and the smell lasts on me a long time, which is one of the things I look for in fragrances. I showed you guys this fragrance on Snapchat and a lot of people screenshotted it and a lot of people were like, how are you just trying this perfume for the first time? And I'm like, I don't know, but I love this fragrance and I've been using it a lot and it's barely even like gone down because a little bit of this one goes a long way. Another one that I recently just discovered is Nest Indigo, and I'm already halfway through this little thing, and this is about the size of a roller ball, and I got this one through the Scentbird subscription. And I mentioned Scentbird before on my channel, and if you have not heard of Scentbird, you need to try it out. So you get to try out luxury high-end fragrances for only $14.95 a month. $14.95, about the size of a roller ball. And if you're anything like me, this is more than enough. I do not go through, as you can see, I do not go through perfumes that often, so this for me lasts such a long time. And they customize your deliveries based on what you like. So if you like more floral, if you like more fresh, woody, so on and so forth, you get to basically pick. And the cool thing is you don't have to have the subscription for like a year. You can cancel at any time, but if you've been wanting to try out fragrances and you're not exactly trying to commit to a full size expensive bottle like this, then I would highly suggest trying them out. They have some of my favorites on there. As I was saying, Nest by Indigo, this one smells really good. It does have a more floral-ish kind of fresh scent to it. I'm wearing it today. This one doesn't last as long on me as my C by Giorgio Armani or some other ones that I'm gonna mention, but it smells so good and that's the reason why I like it. I'm gonna leave a link in the description box just in case you are interested in Scentbird. But moving on, I'm gonna talk about my Ralph Lauren Tender Romance, and this one is another one. All of the ones I'm mentioning have a very floral smell to them. I'm gonna read to you what it's described as because I have no idea how to describe these scents. So this one says that it is a white luminous oriental scent, a delicate caress of pure white magnolia and silky soft cashmere, and it has ginger, pear, white magnolia, cashmere wood. So it's kind of like a little bit musky, but it has a floral scent to it as well. So those are all the fragrances I have to share with you guys. So next I'm going to talk about kind of like products I use to prep my lips. So I'm gonna talk about Smith's Minted Rose Lip Balm. I am almost out of this thing. It's crazy. I've had it for so long, but as you can see, I've already put a pretty big dent in there. This is my all-time favorite chapstick, lip balm, lip product, whatever you want to call it. It nourishes the lips. If I have cracked lips, this is my go-to right here. If your lips are always cracked and you're looking for something that's gonna help to soothe and to help get rid of all the lines and everything, I would definitely suggest this one. I've had it forever too, and Chris uses this one too. He really likes it. And then the next one I have is a lip mask, and this is from Best Damn Beauty, Nicole Guerrero's beauty line. And this lip mask is so good. I use this one before putting on a liquid lipstick. What I do is I put it on, it nourishes my lips, it gets rid of all the cracks and all the dryness. And then right before I'm about to apply my liquid lipstick, I go in with a napkin. I go like that and I just take off like the little layer of the lip mask, and then my lips feel amazing, and then my liquid lipstick goes on perfectly. I've tried using something like the Smith's one under my liquid lipsticks, but then it kind of makes my liquid lipstick move around, or it doesn't get as matte as it would if I didn't use that. So this one I highly suggest if you're looking for something that's gonna nourish your lips but not alter the finish of your liquid lipstick. So now I'm gonna move on to brow products. Most of them are from Benefit Cosmetics because they came out with a whole line dedicated to brows, and as soon as I tried these products I fell in love, and I've been using them ever since. So the product I have on my brows right now, I'm wearing their Ka-Brow Cream Gel Brow in the number 4. And I've been using this non-stop. It's replaced my Anastasia Beverly Hills Dip Brow, which is crazy because that's all I used to use. So it comes in this little container, and it also comes with a little brush, which is awesome because I take this with me everywhere. If I'm traveling, or if I need to touch up my brows, or if I'm in the car doing my makeup, this is what I take. It's just so convenient for me. The brush isn't like the best brow brush, but it does the job. This is all I use all of the time. It's on my brows right now. It's always on my brows. If I'm not using like something else, this is what I'm using. So with that being said, to set my brows, I've been using the Tanya Crooks The Brow Gal, and I got this one in my FabFitFun Fun box. I gave it a try one day and I was like, let me see if it works. It's just a clear brow gel. I tried it out and I've been using this one nonstop as well. It sets my brows without making them too crunchy. It doesn't leave any residue at all, so I've been obsessed with this one. And then the other one that I use is the Benefit Cosmetics Ready Set Brow, and this is just another clear brow gel. The reason I like this one is because of the wand. The wand's a little bit more slanted, and you can really get precise with it. So you can go front of the brow, and the bristles are so short that it almost even like brushes your brows, whereas the bristles on this one are a little bit more separated and not as short, so you're not as precise. But I've been loving both of these brow gels. I have really curly brow hairs, and this past year these are the two that have been saving my brows. Actually, I forgot to mention one more brow product, and this is the Precisely My Brow Pencil from Benefit Cosmetics. I've kind of stopped using this one just because I ran out of it and I haven't repurchased it, but this also replaced some of my other brow products that I used to use. The pencil, like it says, is super precise. It gets in all the right places, and it's not too waxy or powdery or anything. It's just the perfect formula. You can do a natural brow with this. You can do a fuller brow with it. It also comes with a spoolie so you can brush out your brow hairs and everything. So now to talk about eyeshadow primers, and I have 3 to share with you. 2 of them are eyeshadow primers. One of them is a glitter primer. MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot. I have not put this down all year, yet I still have a ton of it. I've barely even put a dent in there. I love this primer because it cancels out all the discoloration. It cancels out all the veins that I have on my eyelids. It gives me a nice base. The only thing about this one is that it is a little bit more drying. It still works fine, but I feel like I have to be super careful. I have to blend it with my fingers. But the other one that I've been liking for when my eyes are a little bit more dry, or when my skin's a little bit more dry, Kat Von D High Voltage Eye Primer. And this one primes and it corrects, very similar to MAC Soft Ochre. This one has a little bit more of a yellow tint. So does MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot, but this one's a lot more yellow. But I love the formula of this one. I feel like it's literally MAC Soft Ochre Paint Pot in a liquid form. So if you don't like this one, or you're not a fan of it being in a pot, or it's dried out on you, or you know, whatever the case may be, I would highly suggest trying out the Kat Von D one. I don't know if there are different colors, but mine says skin on the back, And I haven't heard many people talk about this primer, and as you guys can see, I've already used a lot of it, but I haven't heard a lot of people talk about it. And I heard that it was discontinued or was gonna be discontinued or something like that. I'm not sure, but the point is I use this a ton. And lastly, for eye primer, I have the Too Faced Glitter Glue Glitter Shadow Primer. And I like this one mainly because I feel like it doesn't leave my eyelids super sticky. It doesn't dry up too fast either, but it still is tacky enough to grip onto the glitter. And once you blend it and once it dries, it's completely clear. So as far as priming my skin and finishing off prepping my skin, I have 3 primers that I'm going to share with you all. And I have combination oily skin, mainly oily, but in the winter and fall months it gets a little bit more combination, but it's still very oily in the T-zone. A primer that I love and that I'm almost out of is the NYX Angel Veil Skin Perfecting Primer. This one I've heard is very similar to the Hourglass one, which I also have, but for some reason I gravitate towards this one a little bit more because it doesn't have too much what's called flashback. The Hourglass one, because of the SPF, it has a lot of flashback, but this one I feel like it does a similar job without the flashback and everything. This primer just helps to smooth and it gives you a perfect base. It's also oil free, so it doesn't make your skin extra oily or greasy, or it's not illuminating or hydrating, anything like that. Just perfects the skin and gives you a nice base before applying your foundation. The next one that I love and that I discovered this year and I've been using like non-stop, I've gone through maybe 3 bottles of this one, the Dr. Brandt Pores No More Pore Refiner Primer. This one minimizes the appearance of your pores, which that is something I look for in every primer almost, and it also mattifies a little bit. So this is honestly the perfect primer if you have oily skin, if you have large pores and you're looking for something that's going to smooth and something that's going to mattify as well. I've tried other primers that are also smoothing and mattifying, and some of those are actually almost too matte for my skin, which is crazy because my skin is more oily, but they're too matte to the point where when I put my foundation on top, it starts to crumble and the foundation looks chalky and it's like patchy and just gross. And this one does not do that. I don't know if it's because it's skincare and a primer mixed in one. This one just does it all for me. And when I used to work at Sephora, almost every single time that I would put this on a client with or without makeup on top, they loved it, and most of the time they would purchase it because you can see the difference even without putting makeup on top. As soon as you put it over your pores, it smooths like crazy. So this one, they have it in this size right here, and they also have it in a bigger size. You can just buy 2 of these. You get the same amount as the full size and you pay less money. So Dr. Brandt Pores No More is definitely one of my holy grail primers. And the last one that I'm going to mention is one that I recently started using. Is the Too Faced Hangover RX Primer. And this one is more for people who have dry or dehydrated skin. I personally love more of a glowy look even though I have oily skin. A lot of the foundations or other products that I use are more on the matte side or natural matte side. I don't want to soak up all the oils of my skin and I don't want to look too flat, which is why this one works perfectly. On my skin, the key to get a flawless base is really prepping and moisturizing my skin and keeping my skin hydrated underneath my makeup. Before, what I used to do is like super mattify my skin, and then I would put a matte foundation and a matte powder, and it would end up looking cakey and dry and not as flawless. Now that I've really been using hydrating products under my foundation, I feel like it gives me a much better finish, at least on my skin. So for foundations, I have quite a few to share because it was really hard for me to just narrow it down to 1 or 2. These 5 foundations I've used a ton this past year, and these are all foundations that I recommend for people who have my skin type or for people who prefer having a similar finish to the one that I prefer. Some of these are meant for people who have dry skin. Some of these are meant for people who have oily skin. And even though I do have more oily skin, I'm able to alter the finish of all of these foundations by using certain powders, certain finishing sprays, so on and so forth. The first one I'm going to mention, I don't even really have to say much about this foundation because I've talked about it so much on my channel. But the Lancome Teint Idole foundation is my all-time favorite. I've done so many foundation reviews. I've talked about so many foundations here on my channel, and I always get questions on whether or not I prefer other foundations over this one, and the answer to that is no. This is my favorite foundation that I've tried so far. It has a natural matte finish. It's medium buildable to full coverage depending on what kind of tools you use to apply it. It has SPF 15, which is amazing because you can use it outside in the sun. I would still suggest using sunscreen underneath, but it does have a little bit of SPF. But the good thing about it is it does not have flashback. At least I haven't experienced any flashback when using this foundation. It looks amazing in photos. It looks amazing in person. Love, love, love this foundation. Another reason why I have not used it recently in my videos is because I ran out of it, and I don't know if I want to spend another 50 bucks on a foundation right now. But once I repurchase this, you're gonna see this a lot more on my channel again. Next one up that I also ran out of, but I recently got another one, is the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. This one is also meant for dry skin, but it's oil free. So people with oily skin can use it and get a nice finish with it as well, depending on what primer and powder you use and everything like that. It's more of a medium buildable foundation. I wouldn't necessarily say it's extremely full coverage, but you can build it up to a fullish coverage. I just feel like this is one of those foundations that would work with so many different skin types, just like the Lancome one. I've tried that foundation on people who have normal to dry skin, and it also looks really good. But yeah, this is one of those foundations that I feel like can work with a lot of different skin types. And the last high-end foundation that I'm going to talk about is the Hourglass Vanish Seamless Foundation Stick. This one also just recently launched this year, and this foundation stick works beautifully. It also sits really nice on the skin, and they say that this one has a little bit more I've heard people say it has a matte finish, but I've heard people say it has a dewy finish. On me personally, I feel like it has more of a dewy finish even after it sets. If I don't set this with the powder, I feel like it might move around a little bit. This foundation just looks perfect in any type of light. It looks perfect on almost everybody. I tried this one out on my cousin. She actually tried it on herself, and I ended up giving her one of the ones that I had because she really, really liked it. It lasts such a long time, and it doesn't get cakey even though it is more of a cream formula. And then the two drugstore ones I'm going to mention, one of them is the L'Oreal Infallible Pro Glow. And it's funny because I think last year when I did my 2015 favorites, I talked about how I love the Infallible Pro Matte. But now, this year, I'm loving the Infallible Pro Glow. This year I feel like I've been a lot more into having a glowy finish. Lately it's been all about the highlight and the glow, even if you have oily skin. But yeah, I've been loving this one. It doesn't leave me too greasy. It's very lightweight. It lasts such a long time, and it always looks flawless. Every time that I apply it, I know that my skin's gonna look really, really nice with it. And then the last one that I can rely on like crazy is the Milani Conceal and Perfect 2-in-1 foundation. This foundation probably provides me with the most coverage I've ever gotten from a drugstore foundation. I've tried a lot of drugstore foundations, not a lot, but I've tried a few, and I feel like this one right here gives me the most coverage, but it doesn't make me look cakey either. I thought I was almost done, and I realized I'm barely on the concealer part, and I still have so many products to share. But the concealers, I have 3 of them. The first ones that I'm going to share are the Sephora Collection Bright Future Gel Serum Concealers. I have 2 different shades here, but these I also discovered this past year. The coverage of these, amazing. They're very hydrating. They don't have a super matte finish, so they don't leave my under eyes looking really dry, which means that they don't crease underneath my eyes either. Another one that's kind of similar to the Sephora one, but it has a little tiny bit less coverage, is the Bare Minerals Bare Skin Complete Coverage Serum Concealer. It provides nice coverage without, again, being too matte. I feel like both of these concealers are so underrated. Not a lot of people talk about these concealers, but they are, in my opinion, must-haves, and I feel like they would work with so many different skin types. And then of course, LA Girl Pro Conceal. This one was definitely gonna make the list. It has amazing coverage. It's only like $2, $3, and so many different colors to choose from. You can use them to highlight, you can use them to bronze or contour, you can use them for foundation, you can use them for everything. And of course, after concealer, we have to set everything in place. So the two translucent powders that I've been loving, Laura Mercier translucent powder. This is so many people's favorite powder. Definitely worth the money. It is on the pricey side, but I love this powder. I've gone through a whole one and then I repurchased this one. That one is definitely a favorite. And then the one I discovered this year, which is also a lot of people's favorite, is the Coty Airspun Loose Face Powder in Translucent Extra Coverage. It smooths your face, it smooths your pores, it smooths all the little wrinkles underneath the eyes. It just makes your skin look flawless. For baking and for setting underneath your eyes and for setting your foundation in general, I think I have translucent powder on my shirt now. But yes, to set all those highlighted areas and where you have concealer, this is amazing. And then as far as bronzing up my skin, I have 2 powders to share, and then I have 1 cream product. I have the Milani Baked Bronzer in Soleil. This one has a little bit more shimmer in it, but it has such a beautiful finish, and the color is also really nice. I typically like using more warm bronzers to add color back into my skin and to like chisel my cheekbones and everything. Gray tones for some reason just don't go with my skin tone. So this one's a really nice bronzer to bring some life back into your skin. And then the other one that I think was also in my 2015 favorites is the MAC Mineralized Skin Finish in Give Me Sun. I've used it like crazy. I haven't even hit pan. But this one is perfect if you like more of a golden bronzy look. And lastly, for bronzers, is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Stick Foundation in Almond. And I did a review on this one, but I didn't end up liking the formula as a foundation. I ended up liking it a lot more for bronzing up my skin. This is the color I used for my review, and it was too dark. So I was like, let me try it as a bronzer or to contour, and I love it. And this one is maybe 2 shades darker than my skin tone. So when I use this one, it gives me more of a natural bronze look. So I like using this one for more of a natural look, or if I'm using only cream products that day or something like that. And then from there, we're gonna talk about highlighters. And one that I couldn't put down this past year is Becca Cosmetics and Jaclyn Hill's Champagne Pop. This highlighter is absolutely gorgeous. It has such a pretty finish, and I feel like this one especially looks good after you spray your face with like MAC Fix Plus or something. The only thing is, I've realized that the more I've used it, the kind of more chalky it's getting. When I first opened it, it went onto the skin and it looked like amazing. But now that I'm getting deeper into the pan, I feel like it's getting a little bit more chalky. Maybe that's just me, but it's stunning either way. And then the other one that I've been loving is the NARS Dual Intensity Blush in the color Frenzy. And I've mainly been using just the highlight side, not necessarily the blush side, mainly because this is more for like summer. But this one is a cream to powder finish, and this just looks so pretty on the skin. It's also more of a gold highlight, just like the Jaclyn Hill one, but it's not as gold, so you can see it right here. They're very similar, just this one has a little bit less gold in it. And then the other one that I've been loving is the Makeup Forever Pro Light Fusion in the color number 1. They have it in number 1 and number 2. I've only tried number 1, which is why I'm only recommending this one. This one is a little bit more pink. You can see it right here. It's a little bit more pink. But these, I feel like when you put them on your skin, they're almost undetectable. You know how when you put a highlighter on and you can see the line on the top and you can see the line on the bottom from where you put it on? This one, I feel like it does not leave those lines. It just blends perfectly into your skin. Okay, so moving on to blushes. I have a few to share with you. So I typically like using bronzer as my blush. I don't use blush too often, but when I do, I typically like using one of these three. The first one that I've been loving is the NYX Powder Blush in Terracotta. Bronzy, shimmery, warm tone blush. I don't typically gravitate towards pink blushes, rosy blushes, peachy blushes. So this one right here is perfect. It does have a little bit of shimmer to it, as I mentioned, but it just adds kind of like a different element to your bronzer. The pigment of this blush is so good, especially for the price, and I just love the way it looks on top of bronzer. The other one that I love is the Becca Luminous Blush in Blushed Copper. This one is extremely pigmented, so a little bit of this goes a long way. This one is very similar to Terracotta, but it has a little bit more of a red tone to it. And the last one that I recently started using that I've been loving, and I'm wearing it today very lightly, is the Estee Edit the Barris Blush in Amber Glow. This one is almost like a blush and an illuminator in one. I've already used quite a bit of it, so you can't see it as much, but in this area it has a little bit of like highlight or illuminator. This one is a little bit more plum and it's not as shimmery as those, but it has the perfect amount of pigment and the perfect amount of plum and the perfect amount of pink. Okay, so those are pretty much all of the base products. So moving on to more of the eyes. So as far as eyeliner, this is also something I hardly ever wear, just like I hardly ever wear blush. But when I do wear eyeliner, I almost always use my NYC eyeliner, and this is in Extreme Black. This one is so inexpensive and it does the job. It's extremely black. You don't have to go over your liner like 10 times. Even if you do go over it and over and over, it doesn't get clumpy, it doesn't get streaky, and I feel like it works better than some high-end ones as well. And then as far as mascaras, I have two to share. Well, I have three here, but you know what I mean. Two different brands. Too Faced Better Than Sex mascara, waterproof version and the regular version. I like both. They're both amazing. I've been using both of these nonstop. If you're looking for a good waterproof mascara, like if you're gonna go to a wedding or if it's your wedding and you're gonna be crying or you're gonna be in the rain or whatever it may be, I would highly suggest this one. And then if you just want a good volumizing, kind of lengthening mascara for like everyday use, I would do just the regular one. And then the other one that I have to share is the Benefit Roller Lash, and I'm almost out of this one because I use it so often, but I like this one to add curl to my lashes, and this one really makes my lashes just kind of stay up all day. I like to use this one on the more natural days because it doesn't necessarily lengthen as much. It just curls and it kind of adds a little bit of volume. And then as far as lashes, I'm wearing the ones that are supposed to be in the packaging. Creme Shop lashes are amazing. I actually used to say Cream Shop lashes, but it's Creme Shop lashes. And these that I'm wearing are in the style 702. I love the style 702 and 805. They're two of my favorites. I also love their wispy and their demi-wispy lashes. But the ones that I've been wearing nonstop are 805 and 702. Every single time somebody asks me what my favorite lashes are, I always recommend the Creme Shop lashes. I do love Ardell, I do love Salon Perfect, and I did use some of their lashes throughout the year, but the ones that I always suggest and the ones that I can never seem to put down are the Creme Shop lashes. Before moving on to eyeshadows and lip products, which are the last two things I'm going to talk about, I want to mention a setting spray that I've been using like crazy, and it's the Urban Decay All Nighter Setting Spray. This setting spray, I think I stopped using it for a while also because I ran out of it, but now that I've repurchased it, I know exactly why I used to use it like crazy. I've tried other setting sprays and I feel like they just don't necessarily do the job. And if you want something to lock in your makeup and to make your makeup last all day and all night, I would do something like this one, because MAC Fix Plus isn't necessarily going to set your makeup, it's just going to give you a better finish, whereas this one just locks in your makeup. It also takes away some of that powderiness, but this is mainly just to kind of set everything in place. So we're finally slowly approaching the end of my pile here. But the next thing I want to talk about is more the Z palette than the actual shadows inside. I bought my Z palette, I want to say maybe a few months ago, and I use it all of the time. It is so convenient. You can fit so many different eyeshadows in here. You can make your own palette. I take this one with me all the time when I go work on clients and stuff. It just fits everything in one place. It's slim, so it fits everywhere. I take this one all the time when I travel or when I'm in the car, or when I just want something that has everything in there. I can literally put whatever eyeshadows I want in here. And I don't know, I just think it's so convenient. And then as far as actual eyeshadows, I have the Modern Renaissance palette by Anastasia Beverly Hills. A lot of people love this palette, and I don't blame them. This palette is amazing. When I first saw this palette, I was very iffy about it because I was like, am I really going to use these colors? Like, am I really going to use them? Because of the fuchsia colors and the orange and the light pinks. I was like, I don't really use these colors. But that's exactly why I got it, because I didn't have any colors like this in my collection. I did have a little bit of the orange shades, but not as pigmented and as easy to blend as these. If you have not got your hands on it, ask for it for Christmas if it's not sold out. I feel like it's been sold out everywhere. But ask for it as a Christmas gift or for a birthday gift or something, because I feel like this is a palette that you have to have, especially if you love warm tones. And then as far as more affordable options, some of my favorites have been from Morphe. The 35O was also one of the ones I mentioned last year. They also came out with an all shimmer and an all matte one, but I personally just have the one that's combination shimmery and matte. Warm Tone Heaven, it has a lot of transition colors, a lot of shimmery colors, a lot of smoky brown colors. And if you want to try the 35O palette but you don't necessarily think you're going to use all of these colors, then I would definitely try the Morphe 12NB. I'm going to show you the two side by side just so you can see how similar these are. Yeah, so if you want a smaller version of the 35O palette or a more travel friendly version of the 35O palette, then I would give this one a try. You do get the brown shades, the transition shades, the lighter shades to highlight. The only thing is you don't get too many of those super intense glittery shimmery colors, but you do get some shimmery shades in here. And then the last shadows that I've been using a lot this year are the L'Oreal Infallible eyeshadows. I have a few colors, but the ones I have here are Amber Rush and Golden Emerald, which is an olive green. These two are so pigmented and affordable. They're from the drugstore. You can find them at Target or Walmart, and you can put these on with your fingers. You can put them on with a brush. Either way, you're gonna get amazing pigmentation. These are a little bit more shimmery, and if you spray them with like MAC Fix Plus or some sort of spray, they come off a lot more foiled. And then lastly, we're gonna talk lip products, and I have a lot of lip products to share because lip products I have the most of in my collection. I purchased the most lip products, but I'm gonna share with you guys some of my favorites. And the first one I'm gonna talk about is the one I'm wearing right now, which is Stila's Stay All Day Liquid Lipstick in the color Rico. I went through a phase between summer and fall, I think it was, or spring and summer, where I was wearing this one non-stop. At work, when I used to work at Sephora, every time I wore this color, my coworkers would be like, is that Rico from Stila? Because I would always wear this color. And this was a color that whenever I wore it to work, I got a lot of questions on what lip color I was wearing. And it was always this one. I'm not going to swatch it since I already have it on my lips, but it is a deep purple-ish plum color. It does go on glossy and then it dries up completely matte. It's super long wearing, and Stila's liquid lipsticks are honestly some of my favorite formula. They're not too drying. I've been wearing this one for a few hours and it hasn't cracked on me at all. I almost feel like I don't have anything on my lips, so I absolutely love this one. And then before I go into my favorite nudes of this past year, I'm going to talk about ColourPop's Ultra Satin Lip in the color Tansy. If you've been following my channel for a while, you know how much I love this color right here. I feel like it's the perfect color between orange and brown. It's like right in the middle. As you can see right here, it has a brown hint to it, but it's not completely chocolatey brown, but it's not orange either. I use it all the time if I have a warm coppery eye look going on, or if I have a brown smoky eye. This is my favorite lip color to use with those kinds of looks. As far as nude liquid lipsticks, I have 3 liquid lipsticks to share with you. NYX Soft Matte Lip Cream in Abu Dhabi. I'm gonna try to scrape some out of this one because if you look at the bristle on this, struggle bus 101. It's so gross. I just can't throw this away yet. I'm like, there's still a little bit left in there. I love the color of this one, and I love the formula as well. As you can see, it's a nice warm toned nude, which is typically what I gravitate towards. It has a soft matte finish, so it dries up a little bit matte, but it's still a little bit creamy at the same time, not drying at all. And then another one that's kind of similar to that one, but it's I feel like a high-end version, is I think it's OM or OM from Bare Minerals. The formula is also similar to the NYX Cosmetics Soft Matte Lip Creams. This one is a little bit less pink than the NYX one, but it's super similar right on this side. And I mean, they almost even blend in together. And the last liquid lipstick that I have that's a nudish brown is the Jouer Lip Cream in the color Noisette. I haven't used this one in a while, but when I first got it, I was obsessed with it. This one's more of a mauve pink. It has a little bit more of that purple hint to it, and when I put it on my lips, it comes off a little bit more brown as well. As far as lipstick, like an actual lipstick, the one I've been loving is Bite Beauty's Amuse Bouche lipstick in Honeycomb. This one is a little bit light on my skin tone, so I typically go underneath with a darker lip liner, but it's very similar to the NYX and the Bare Minerals liquid lipstick. For lip glosses, I have the NYX Extreme Shine Lip Cream in the color Skin Tone. I can wear this lip gloss by itself. I can wear it on top of a liquid lipstick. I can wear it on top of a lip liner. The pigment is real with this lip gloss. You can see it all here. It has such a beautiful glossy finish, and it's not streaky at all. It goes on perfectly, and it gives you like a nice even color all the way around. And the other one I have is Buxom's Full On Lip Polish in the color Sabrina. This one has a little bit more of that plumping effect, and it also has a little bit of shimmer on there, but when you put it on your lips, you really can't even see the shimmer at all. On my skin, this is a perfect nude shimmery lip gloss. And the last 2 products I'm going to share with you that were my favorites for 2016 are 2 lip liners. MAC's Strip Down was definitely a favorite of mine this past year. It's the perfect brown nude lip liner. And the other one that I use is Spice by Milani, which this one has a little bit more pink in it. These I feel like are very comparable. I actually like the formula of the Milani ones a lot more than the MAC ones, but I like the colors from the MAC ones a little bit more. So those are all of my 2016 beauty favorites, and I know I talked about a lot of different products, but I would definitely repurchase these products, and I 100% stand by all of these products as well. So I'm gonna list all the products I talked about down below in the description box, just in case, like I said in the beginning, you do want to ask for some of these for Christmas. Everything's going to be listed down below. You can take a screenshot, you could send it to your parents, you can send it to your boyfriend, you can send it to your girlfriend and be like, hey, this is what I need. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what some of your guys' 2016 beauty favorites are. I love trying out new products, as you guys know, so comment down below with what your favorites are or were for this past year. So thank you all so much for watching. I love you all. Happy holidays, and I will see you in my next video.